What's going on YouTube? Levi at Old Iron Off-Road. We're going to throw some more time in on the little 800 rock crawler project. I'm waiting on some more substantial parts to come in before we really dig too deep in it. In this video, I'm actually going to do a little bit of cage work. I'm going to add a filler piece in there, and I'm also going to work on some kickers for the rock sliders. We may dig into the front axle a little bit. I'm not 100% sure. Just so you're on the same page, we've actually ordered some front axle parts. We have a truss for the front axle coming from Artec. I was initially going to leaf spring the front, and I was just decided, forget it. I'm going to link it. It's going to be linked front and rear. I planned on linking the back. We're just going to go ahead and go full stupid, link the front and back. I've also got a pile of parts here for our front axle as far as the knuckles and the high steer stuff. We've got a set of knuckles from Solid, got a set of Northwest Fab high steer arms, and we've got all Dana Spicer stuff, some bronze kingpin bushings, and all the bearings and seals that we need to rebuild the kingpins. Now, if you'll notice, these knuckles were actually set up for a keyway high steer arm. Solid sells a proprietary. Solid and Crane both sell a set of keyed high steer arms. I really didn't like the design of the high steer arms. I like the newer high steer arms that actually tie to the that use the long bolt in the sleeve to tie the front of the high steer arm to the old tie rod hole on the knuckle. So these have got 6 studs plus a big 3/4 inch bolt in the front. I talked to Northwest Fab because they were the only ones that sold that style of high steer arm that was, 1 was steel, and 2, I like the design of them. Artec sells a set that are made for these knuckles, but they're aluminum, and I wasn't super warm and fuzzy about aluminum high steer arms. They may be fine. It may be just me overthinking it, but 40-inch tires and aluminum knuckles or aluminum high steer arms just didn't sound like a super fantastic idea to me. So I talked to Northwest Fab and actually was asking about as far as them machining that keyway or machining that slot out of their high steer arms. And they actually recommended not doing that because of the simple fact you've got 7 bolts clamping this high steer arm to the knuckle. If for some reason your bolts loosen up, you're actually adding your stress riser instead of being in the studs and shearing studs off. It's actually going to shear or can break the knuckle because it's putting all the load into that 1-inch keyway. This guy. So maybe I don't know. I tend to do that sometimes, but regardless, I've got a brand new 4-fluke in mill. We're going to chuck this thing up in the mill at some point and machine that off of the knuckle and just run the 7 bolts. I think it's going to be totally fine. We've got some work that needs to be done on the 4L80. I'm waiting on some parts to come in for that. The direct drum springs for the 4L80 full manual valve body that I'm trying to purchase are out of stock, so we're waiting on those to come back in before we can get that ordered. So once we get those in, we can get the 4.3 made to the 4L80, we can get the Dana 300 all bolted together, we can get our drivetrain in, we can get our transmission cross member and our engine mounts, which we've already got a set. They're sitting here. We can get that all built, and we kind of get into the meat and taters of the build, if you will. This has been a long-winded introduction, all to say that we're not going to do anything really cool in this video, but work on the roll cage and build some kickers for the rock sliders. I may have mentioned that this cage was built for a truck that had this moved back for more legroom, and I don't like how long this open hole is, so I'm actually going to build a little filler piece that kicks down into this, and I'm going to put a nice dimple dyed filler panel in there. And then on the rock sliders, I'm not just going to run these rock sliders because it still doesn't offer any protection out here. I'm actually going to build a set of kickers that come out and run down to keep the body off of stuff. And if you've also noticed, we've actually tore our doors apart. I watched a killer video on YouTube or on Facebook the other day. This guy that built a set of Toyota doors and put like some storage in them, cut them down. We're doing that. So I'm going to shut up now. We're going to chuck some tubing in the bender and we're just going to wing it. We're going to do it. We're doing it. Stay tuned. I could try to sound real technical about what I'm doing here, but I'd be making up stuff. I used to think tube bending needed to be like super precise and needed to be a thing, but I actually got better at it when I stopped trying to be super precise. Like obviously I measure stuff and check angles, but it's more artistic than it is anything. Sometimes it's just, it happens the way it happens. Like sometimes I've accidentally bent stuff wrong and then ended up like, oh cool, that'll be another cool piece for over here. So sometimes it just kind of falls together. We're gonna bend this. Like so. Two pieces bent up, somewhat symmetrical, reasonably symmetrical. Go ahead and get those guys notched up and we'll tack them in. It's that easy. It's another day out here in the shop. Got rained out the other day, but now you can kind of see what we're working on. Got our curiously strong magnet supporting this tube. And basically what I wanted to do is make that door opening look less strange, add a little bit of strength so that's not just such a long open area. We got rained out the other day, as I said, and it's trying to rain on me right now. So hopefully in between this rain shower, I can at least get these buzzed in. Another day here in Tennessee, and it is beautiful out today. It's been so hot I've not even remotely wanted to work on this thing. I've not been interested at all. So between the rain and the heat, it's just been terrible. Anyway, today it's like 77 degrees out. It is beautiful. It's about 5:30 in the afternoon. I decided before I called it a day I was going to put in a few hours, minutes, whatever time I could get, whatever time I felt motivated for this rig. So little cardboard cat action right off the rip. So yeah, got this guy fit up, dimple dies in the middle. Should look pretty slick. So I think we're gonna take it inside and blast one of these, or blast two of these guys out, get them dimple dyed up and get them tacked in, see how they look.
Someone to save. I wanna tell you something new. You drove us both into a wall. I drive away into the night, and I contemplate for a while. Don't you think it's funny before the best if I back my stomach sooner than this? Don't you think it's funny before the best if I back my stomach sooner than this? Don't you wish I would have been someone else? I wanna feel your gap without making a mess at you. I want you to tell me something new. I wanna tell you something new. I wish you all the best I can, but I stop myself for a while.
Yeah, done and done. I'm gonna go eat some dinner. See you later. All right, so it's been a while. The heat here has just been crazy. It's been almost impossible to do anything in the shop, let alone outside. We've been busy trying to make progress on these guys. And even though this isn't really part of this video, I'll go ahead and give you a little update on these guys. Both of them running. This guy's about buttoned up and about ready to go home. Looking pretty good. This one has the LS6 out of C5 Corvette. It is about ready to go home. We didn't have to do paint and body on either one of these. They're pretty much LS swaps and mechanical restoration. So about ready to send those guys home. Trying to gear up for the Harvesters in the Holler event as well. I'm going to include a link to the other YouTube channel. Jump over there and follow it. So once again, poor pitiful Levi. He's going to have to go outside and work on his stuff. But that's okay. We ain't mad. We left off with the filler plates. Got those all buttoned up. And today, I think we're going to work on something in the way of some additional body protection from the rockers. I'm actually going to bend up a couple of pieces of tubing and make some pieces that kind of stick out so that you got a little bit more to keep the body away from rocks and whatnot. So I'm going to get a piece of tubing down, give it the old choppy chop and the old bendy bend, get it put on the truck. Let's do it. So we got to kind of figure out how much material we need, and obviously running this size tire, we don't need to run the tubing all the way to here, because even if we stay with an axle center line here, we're still going to be like the edge of the tire of a 40 is going to be about right there. So at a bare minimum, that's where the front of the tire is roughly going to end up. But we're probably going to also push the tire back. Yeah, ideally I'd like to push the rear axle back about 4 inches. So give us some extra room. But I don't think we need all that. We're gonna start tubing there. Same deal on the front. We're gonna push the front way forward. So we're not lining up great. Obviously I gotta chop the bottom of that, and it's kind of causing the door to bind a little bit, but it's holding it where it needs to be. So if we do a 40, that tire is gonna be at a bare minimum there, but if we push it 2 inches forward, that's going to put us there. Tire kind of clears, so I think we'll come back a couple inches just to give us some room to trim if we need to, and call that good. I'm gonna do some math, get some tubing cut, we'll get it fit up. Alright, so we got those cut to fit, and they're actually going to set pretty nice. I'm going to have to cut a little window in this quarter right here so I can get back there to get it all the way in and get it to where I can weld it. But I think it's close enough. We're going to let it ride. I'm going to take a hole saw, open up the top, and then we'll cut down to it. And we'll just cut us a little window down with the body saw, and that'll be good.
Man, love it. Outside, hot. If anybody's wondering what's going on with my hair, by the way, I'm not going for the homeless look. I'm actually trying to grow it back out. So there's that. Pretty much just sworn off haircuts. Anyway, this project whooped on me pretty good, but oh man, it is in there and I dig it. Give you a little once over of that. Hopefully that'll give me a little something to keep the body off of objects. I'm even thinking about doing some other protection. I'm even thinking about coming through the cage, actually coming through right here with another bar. So, one more side to go. Let's do it. This side's actually in the shade, so it should be less terrible. Really kind of digging the look, kind of get a feel for the direction of the truck now. I like it. If you're still watching at this point, make sure to click the subscribe button, comment below, like and share as always. Lots more coming on this rig. I've got a lot of parts for that Dana 70. We've got all the knuckles laying there, high steer arms. We've got an R-Tech truss going on it. So gonna get on it pretty soon, gonna get the gears and stuff in it. That'll probably be on the next video. For now, I think that's all we've got. Thanks for watching, and as always, enjoy.